visits, a 24/7 Nurse Now line, and more. We're dedicated to keeping you and your family healthy so you can focus on what really matters. Banner Health. Less worry, more care. Over 700,000.
Check, check.
Including Colt Artisan Beverage Company, the official beverage company of Ed J and the Easy Sports Talk Show.
Jay, man. Ed J, the Easy Sports Talk Show.
Sports enthusiast Javon Adams. This dynamic duo covers the Arizona sports landscape along with national storylines and hot topics from around the country. Easy Sports Talk takes you beyond the usual stories and highlights, a behind-the-curtain look at the world of sports hockey, and honest, fun-filled commentary. Easy Sports, built for both the avid and casual sports fan. Now, here are your hosts, Ed Easy Smith and Javon J. Adams.
There's nothing you can say. All of them three-point shooting. The guys can't do. And three-point shooting is
And welcome to the Easy Sports Talk Show. Your host, Ed Smith, joined by my brother and co-host, Mr. Javon Adams, a.k.a. J Love.
What's good with you, man?
Man, back on the mic. We took a week off for Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a great holiday. And we are officially in the holiday season now. If you're watching us here on Facebook, you can see all the wreaths and the bows and everything behind me. My favorite time of the year, bro. I love the Christmassy time.
I see you got your tree up.
Tree up.
Man. Do you pull it out or do
Nah, I don't get it all that. I just let that stuff happen, man.
you?
I let it happen. So, but yeah, no, great time of the year. My favorite time of the year. We lose a little bit of the Christmassy spirit because it's still 80 degrees outside. We got the door open right now. It's 80 degrees. No snow, no.
Yeah, in love with the weather, man. I swear you a weather man like it ain't nothing, man.
So welcome to the Easy Sports Talk. So appreciate you hanging out with us on this beautiful, sunny, 75-degree day here in the valley. Wherever you may be, it might be a little chillier. But yeah, we missed you last week. We're great to be back on. Got a holiday schedule coming up. We're going to be on for the next 3 weeks.
Then we have the 25th off, which is Christmas Day, and New Year's Day to follow. So we're going to be taking those 2 weekends off. But until then, let's get in. And one, to announce a great partnership. We've been doing it for a long time, but it's almost like we just put the ring on it. Got the ring on the finger now. Colt Artisan Beverage Company. We did some sit-downs and some different things, and they are now the official beverage company of the Easy Sports Talk Show.
Yes, sir.
So this segment right here is brought to you by
Colt Artisan Beverage Company, as Ed said, the official beverage company of the Easy Sports Talk Show, one of the first to launch nitrogen-infused coffee. They offer everything from specialty coffees to a botanical infusion line of caffeine and sugar-free brewed beverages. Call Colt Artisan Beverage Company at 623-434-0939. Again, that's 623-434-0939, or visit ilovecolt.com. Again, that's ilovecolt.com for more information.
And we're going to be doing some amazing things to kick off 2022, some remotes with Colt and some of their other partners, along with EIC and Colton. So we're going to get all that, and we'll let you know where we're going to be. Come on out and see us when we're there. In the meantime, if you want to get at us on the Easy Sports Talk hotline, you can ring us at 602-260-1060. Mr. Corey Walsh is sitting behind the glass today. Welcome to the team, Corey. Appreciate you running everything for us. And you're just like with Aaron. You're always welcome to chime in, man. As we have some of these conversations, don't be shy. You got a point, just throw it at us, man. And also, if you got it, man. And if you want to tweet at us at the Easy Sports Talk, at Ed Smith Speaks, and at Javon Love, and that's Love with the LUV. So once again, welcome, Corey. So let's jump right into it, man. We got a lot of sports to talk about. Got some topics. Sun's just blazing up until last night, but they've been blazing.
They've still been blazing.
I know they
those
are.
people that are being they'll say because they lost, and all of a sudden that's why they're not number one, which really doesn't matter in the scheme of things during the regular season, but still.
We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about obviously our Cardinals getting ready to come off the bye week, and then some baseball news even at the end of the show.
I
man.
gotta know what you think about this baseball stuff. I gotta know.
This one is close to home, bro.
I know it does. I know it does. We had some behind. I don't think we're gonna let all the stuff behind the scenes that happened out, but as you share,
I'm gonna get into. I'm gonna go into the confessional, bro. Woo. I'm gonna get into the confessional. Yeah, this rings. This lockout, we'll call it, rings or hits close to home for me. So
yeah.
But in the meantime, let's talk about some of these goings on in the world of college football. We got some great games. All the conference championships getting ready to start in a little bit. ACC, SEC, Big Ten. A lot of these things are going to kind of dictate who gets into this final dance here. But in the meantime, we had a couple coaches just bail on their teams. And when I say bail, it was like thief in the night. Just pack your stuff and get out.
Man.
Lincoln Riley, head coach of Oklahoma, earlier in the week said in a press conference, he said, I wasn't leaving Oklahoma to go to LSU because that job was open, right?
Yeah.
That didn't mean he couldn't take the USC job, though.
Man, there's such a thing as being money whipped, and especially because when you have a contract of a certain length, that gives you a little more autonomy. It gives you the ability to go through some rough patches before somebody summarily dismisses you. We won't have. I know it's switching professional and college, but what happened with John Gruden? I mean, he had a 10-year deal. Yeah, and they ended up having to leave and do some type of severance pay. So you're gonna get paid some money if they happen to cut ties before the end of that contract. But yeah, with Lincoln Riley, I reached out to my partner who is a big USC fan, and also he works at the USC football games as well. And so he seems that he's excited about the idea of Lincoln Riley. Apparently, Lincoln Riley does a lot of recruiting in California anyway. So, and it's funny because he did it under the cloak of night, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
But he reached out to enough of them recruits to say, "Hey, man, I'm just letting you
know.
Oh,
absolutely.
I'm gonna go over here. If you want to kick it with me over here."
He already had a number 1 5-star running back already decommitted and followed him out there. And then the boot, you think when Lincoln Riley does that, you're thinking, okay, wow. And then like the next day, Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
And here's the ironic thing: these are 2 schools, Oklahoma and Notre Dame, which Brian Kelly left. These are 2 institutions that you never see people leave. You get fired at Notre Dame, where you move on retire, whatever. But these are two schools that when you get those jobs, you just assume who's leaving as a head coach of Notre Dame unless he's escorted out the building.
So
and Brian Kelly,
yes,
he literally was like, LSU, they threw a whole boatload of money at him. He was like, yeah, I'll come. And then texted his players, right? And in the middle of the night, that's like breaking up with your girlfriend in a message. You don't get her on the phone.
Hey, where's mommy at? Where's mommy on the phone? I ain't never come home no more.
That was basically it. And then the next morning, because I do my reading and everything, he had a 3.5 minute meeting with the team the following morning at 7 a.m. So whoever was able to get to the meeting, the players, he read them basically a 3.5 minute speech and then bailed.
Oh, so you read the speech. So here's the thing, though. There's a couple of things more about Brian Kelly and I guess the public perception, or I guess really the perception of this man. But okay, so I'm sure you've walked into a company before and said, you know what, I'm done, I'm out, right? So if you go in there and you sit in front of your boss and say, or in this case, the players, and say, okay, I'm giving my notice. You're not just going to sit there and hold shop for like 30 to 40 minutes to an hour. And they say, all right, well, you gave your notice, man. Go ahead and go.
Yeah.
If you got 2 weeks, okay, 2 weeks, or effective now, then effective now. But Brian Kelly is one of those guys that people say he's a good football coach, but you've seen how his demeanor, he seems to be that guy that I would hate to play for or maybe even work for if I was on his staff in some level. Do you get the same vibes from that?
Absolutely.
Have you ever had a coach or, when you were in baseball or even in football where you had somebody who you just disliked, but man, they were good maybe at X's and O's or certain things, but you just disliked them as a person because of the way they treated you?
For any of my baseball buddies out there, I say the name Tim Ireland. Okay. And these dudes know exactly who I'm talking about. I played under Ireland 2 separate times when I was with the Brewers.
Yeah.
And God, I couldn't stand this dude. He was one of them dudes, fake tough, but he was the dude that wanted to always go out there and when he got tossed from a game, throw balls on the field and do different things. And then he had that fake bravado rah-rah. And then we were our professional athletes, right? Baseball players. Yeah. He wanted to do things like hidden ball tricks and stuff like that. And I'm like, look, I'm a professional athlete. I'm in Double-A. You want to do the hidden ball trick? And then when you didn't do it, he would clown you. He would sit you for a day and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah. I had arguments with him where I know we're going off topic, but this was a dude I couldn't stand playing for. His whole personality was just off. And you're exactly right. I feel the same way about Kelly. He's one of those dudes that like the players will give him the support, but I guarantee you in the locker, like when dudes are in the dorms and stuff, they're like, man, there's some of those players are like giving a little golf clap, especially when they kept their staff. Mm-hmm. And there's probably a couple guys that are really liked a little more than Kelly. I'm sure there's some players that are like, I'm glad he's gone.
Do you think Lincoln Riley was scared of going to the SEC? That's one of the things that's been rumored. But, but there's going to be a lot of pressure. I mean, I've put it this way: he's in Oklahoma. He would have had to have failed for at least 3 years, maybe 3 consecutive years in terms of underperforming based upon their standards before they showed him the door. But you go to USC, you may have a year in terms of that honeymoon period, but USC has been down for a while.
He could be the savior in USC. Yeah, I mean, he could be the savior there, though. Yeah, he's going to get recruits. He's going to keep a lot of the California kids there now.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing over the last few years, they've been losing a lot of those players.
Right.
He'll help them kind of get back on track, I think, quicker. And then obviously it's not the SEC, like I said.
Yeah.
We're going to take this break. Appreciate you hanging out. Easy and Jay on the Easy Sports Talk Show, KDUS 1060 AM as well as KSLX HD Channel 2, 100.7. Glad to be back, folks. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. Be back after this.
Are you okay?
Thank you, Corey.
I'm bringing the best sports talk weekend for you, 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Easy Sports Talk would like to congratulate Milano Music
And welcome back to the Easy Sports Talk Show. Hope you're enjoying the start of your weekend in this holiday season. What are you doing over there?
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. One of these days we're gonna have to go out and see you. I can see you on the dance floor. Maybe we just do it. What about a good old house party, man?
As long as we're at your house, you know I like to get my house.
Oh Lord.
We're coming in, switch! Milano!
Yeah.
Switch!
This segment right here is brought to you by
Milano Music, family owned and operated for over 75 years, over 50,000 square foot showroom and repair facility, 18 instrument rental depots across the valley. Visit MilanoMusic.com. That's MILANO music.com, or call them at 480-827-1111. Milano Music.
So we were off last week, and that was also the same time. It was kind of coordinated with the Cardinals being off in their bye week. Yeah, got to coordinate. So we didn't get a chance to recap what they did in week 11. So last week they were kind of chilling, relaxing, enjoying that bye week. Week 11, which was a couple weekends ago, they actually went up to Seattle.
They are doing just as well as I had always predicted that they would. Easy. I told you before the season began. Matter of fact, when they were drafting, I told you
this is the
don't
year.
Be surprised if they go 9-2 by the time they hit their bye week.
We both had them possibly making a coaching change at the bye week.
Did, straight up.
I had them winning 9 games, eight games on the season. I had them at 8-9. I think you were right there with me. Man. They've already won 9 games, so unless they do this some type of incredible crumble, we've already been proven wrong. JB,
I want to get to the. Oh yeah, JB. He
was adamant about this. They were not only going to win the division. He was like, they're going to the Super Bowl. He prognosticated this, so I got to give him props. As far as us, even this past game, no Kyler Murray or D-Hop for a third straight.
I think Pugh was out.
He was out. Yeah. So, and they still go up to Seattle and get a 23-13 win, improving to 9-2. Colt McCoy threw the ball 44 times. Didn't really necessarily like that, but he 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. They ran the ball not necessarily that effectively, only 33 times for 95 yards. But they did what they had to do.
Can some of those, I think you had mentioned this on Believe in the Arizona Cardinals. Make sure you go to Believe.com, look for Believe in the Arizona Cardinals. But that sometimes the short passing game can serve as a running game.
Yeah.
I still don't like I don't like to have the smoke and mirrors like that all the time. I want to be able to try to hand that ball off and do your thing.
Well, and one of the things that's really interesting to me, Connor has become a catalyst for this team. Like that word, don't say that. He's been a catalyst for this team, kind of like the Energizing Bunny for it. And I'm watching his style matched with.
I didn't think it was going to work.
Colt McCoy.
I didn't think it was going to work, whether it was McCoy or whether with Kyler, just because of the way where Connor was coming from with the Steelers, the way in which they were running kind of game, and with Kingsbury, not thinking that it was going to be quite a fit, but I was wrong there as well.
Well, what I'm getting to though is that I think he's been even more impressive with Colt McCoy under center. Okay. You heard what I just said though.
I heard you.
The code word under center.
Yes.
He's been under center more. Connor's been deep, coming downhill, and that running game. You would think about what they did a few weeks ago, going out to San Fran.
Yeah.
And 3 touchdowns that day. I think just a beast out there. I like what they're doing now. The issue comes, we're now getting the weeks in and the dreaded game time decision. We'll talk about this later in the next segment. But we're expecting our franchise quarterback to come back. Does that interfere with what we've been doing to this point? Yeah. Or does it take it off the rail a little bit? Do we resort back to?
Because Kyler's always understand. Kyler's always.
I don't even know if he knows what
it happens so infrequently that when it happens, my oldest son, will send me a text. What was that, Dad? Kyler was under center. Yeah.
So, and then the other thing, the defense went up there, 4 sacks. Russell Wilson was 14 for 26, 207 yards, no touchdowns. Didn't intercept them, but 0 touchdowns. And then we held their rushing attack to 19 rushes for 86 yards. So basically, they didn't even get 300 yards of offense. Right. We shut them down in their home. Get this one, Jay. 79 plays to 49 plays. Time of possession, 40 minutes and some change to 19 minutes and some change. That's what you call total domination today.
Yeah.
in your house.
Yeah.
That's somebody knocking on your door. Matter of fact, not even gonna knock on you. They're just gonna open your door, come in your kitchen, open your refrigerator, and you're like, wait a minute, take the big piece of chicken and the last beer and walk out. You ever, you know, I mean, you got family that comes sometimes just shows up, right? But I'm just saying, that's one thing to show up, but went in your house, took your food,
Yeah.
and then, you know, that's that's
I
pretty.
know where you was going with that, but you had to censor yourself.
I
Yeah, and then, because the score isn't indicative of how much of a beatdown that
Yeah.
was. And I think that is a credit to, because when you go into a situation like perfect situation, right? Because the Seahawks, their struggles have been well documented. Russell Wilson, I think that was the second game back from being on the injured list, coming back from his injury, and they're used to when you have a fan base that is so accustomed to success, maybe they're not as loud as they usually are. Maybe they're not as they don't show up with the same type of intensity. And then the Cardinals defense came to play and do what they do, and the game plan was appropriate for McCoy, because the game plan, I think you had mentioned this with the Carolina game, that game plan just there wasn't something quite right about it, but they were able to recalibrate and be able to try to bring home a victory on the road against a division rival.
I wanted to ask Corey. Corey, are you who you're a football dude? Are you a Cardinals man? What's your background, man?
So I do like the Cardinals the most because of being local teams. And can I be honest? I am shocked they beat Seattle. I did not think McCoy had the ability to win that.
We're right there with you, man. I feel like a clown every week. They do something that like they go to San Fran, they win. I'm like, oh my God. And they lose one to the Panthers, and you're like, okay. And then I'm thinking, you're going up there without your starting quarterback, Colt McCoy, and then they pull this one off. Where did you have the Cardinals at and be honest with us, at the beginning of the season, if we were to ask you 17 games, what do you think their record was going to be, Corey?
I really thought they would probably get away with like a 12-5 deal, but I was being optimistic.
Okay, you were actually on the high side. As if you were listening, Jay and I had them and we went down the schedule and put our feet down and put the flag in the sand, and we were both at 8-9, bro.
Yeah, 8-9.
And I mean, it's been a real pleasant surprise.
I hope they keep it up. Yeah, that's going to be the key. But see that, and I think going into this game, if I remember correctly, I was thinking because the bye was on the horizon, that there might have been that. All right, cool, we made it this far. Let's just get ourselves through this game and get to the bye. And I didn't think that they were going to come up victorious.
And you just tossed me an alley-oop, bro. That's how we do here.
That's how we do.
Speaking of the bye, at the beginning of the year, we thought it was a horrible spot to.
I thought, hey, is this too far in? And I thought you were going to clown me, but you thought that was too far in too.
It was
right?
too. I've been there before. I've had bye weeks in like week 4, which is too early.
Yes.
Then I've had them in week 8 or 9. Those are too late to me.
Mm-hmm.
I like week 12 bye, and I thought, man, that's going to be horrible. They're going to be so gassed and out with maybe a thuddish record by the time they got there, which you and I both thought, man, they could be making a change at this point. Instead, they did a whole flip-flop reversal. They got to the bye at 9-2. Now with only a 6-game stretch to go, they got juvenated. They went home and got rejuvenated. They got juvenated, and they got juvenated again, so they were rejuvenated. I mean, it would be a 9-2 at the bye.
Yes.
You get that week off. I can only imagine how good those dudes feel right now.
Yeah, some of them had 3 weeks going off into the bye.
So
I'm not trying to say the man didn't want to play, but he's coming back super rejuvenated, cubed.
Let's flip the script real quick. We only got a couple minutes left, but I'll ask you: Seahawks, do they need to blow that thing up, or is it fix the coach or fix the quarter? What's going on up there?
They need to fix whoever's because Pete Carroll has that influence in the
too much influence,
box, right?
Yes,
so as a result, they need to change how they're doing things. If the way that you are doing things is not generating the right result, then you need to go in and tweak it and figure out what to do. How do we get back to where we were? Because they've been living off of the
leaves in a boom and all that.
So they had a really good draft, and so there's all that stuff people talk about luck, but I was it's kind of ironic. I was reading about this the other day. So you have the different types of luck, right? So you have the luck in which you just stack that blind luck. I'm sure that they evaluated the talent and they picked correctly, but then they just thought that, oh, well, we're straight. We can just pick whoever we want now because everything's going to be in place, and that's not the case. You have to always be looking to improve or trying to, what can you do to coach up as you're trying to improve, not just by acquiring new players.
Pete Carroll looks like that dude, man, who's like outlived his usefulness, and he has not been willing to make a change in any way.
Mhm.
They're still running a stagnant Russell Wilson drop back and either try to run around until something opens up. No running game.
Right.
You no longer have the Legion of Boom, so your defense can't even support what the inconsistencies and I should say insufficiencies on the offensive side.
Yeah.
And man, it looks like there's a lot of water on that boat, and I'm not sure who's going to pay the price at the end, whether Russell jumps off the ship or they get Pete out off the ship, push him off the boat. So, hey, we're going to take this break. Appreciate you hanging out with Easy and Jay on the Easy Sports Talk Show. We're going to come back. We'll talk about the upcoming matchup. Cardinals going out to play the Browns. No, Bears.
Yeah.
So we'll take this break. Be back in after these messages, folks.
BB Buckshot.
Yeah. What do you say?
BB Buckshot.
BB Buckshot.
Yeah, it's a game we used to play in California, man.
Buckshot. You know what buckshots used to be? Them little pebbles on the back of your head. And welcome back to the Easy Sports Talk Show. Your host Ed Smith, joined by my brother and co-host Mr. Javon Adams. He had me laughing between the breaks, so I'm gonna throw it right to you. This segment right here is brought to you by
Majestic Services. Contact Majestic Services to do all the dirty work around your home or business. Majestic Services will pressure wash your driveways, awnings, pool decks, sidewalks, receiving docks, and more. Call Majestic Services at 602-614-9401. Again, 602-614-9401, or go to majesticservices.net for your free no obligation quote today.
Yes, sir. Let Majestic Services come out and do your dirty work.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to jump to the Cardinals' upcoming game. They got the Bears coming up. But before we do that, real quick update, Thursday night football, a little bit of a snoozer. Cowboys 27, Saints 17. Saints season, I think, is pretty much done. They had to revert to backup quarter Simeon, and then they figured they would go to your boy Taysom Hill. And in my opinion, that is a straight-up disaster. And this is after giving that man a $40+ million contract. They could escalate to $95 million, and 20-some-odd million of it is guaranteed. I see you getting hot right here.
I want Taysom Hill's agent.
Yes.
That dude works miracles. If you do not know, a
utility guy, basically.
He's a utility guy. He's like that, what is it, that Swiss Army knife?
Yeah.
But he wants to play quarterback. He is and he's not a good quarterback. He is
a bad quarterback. You can't even say he is a bad quarterback.
But they keep him around and they keep paying him. I think it was last year they paid him $16 million. I mean, dang, man. But the point is that his new contract, as Ed said, goes from on the low end, 40-some million, up to the high end of 95. You're thinking, well, that's whatever. There are a lot of contracts like this. No, the difference between the uniqueness of this contract is it increases, or it can increase based upon the percentage of plays that he has at a particular position. So if you remember, there was what was the gentleman's name? He was on the Saints, and he went to the Seahawks. He was a tight end, but he wanted to be paid.
Yeah, he's now in Chicago, actually.
Yes,
he
wanted to be paid like a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
They said nah, and they didn't want to negotiate with him in that way. It's the wonderful man, Taysom Hill. Your agent, you need to give him Christmas cards. You need to give him whatever it is. Give him whatever. Buy him books. The leather-bound books, but that
was a bad performance.
Maker.
4 interceptions, nothing. And it is one thing, because even Lamar Jackson threw 4 interceptions last week, but it's like you can still see the flashes. And I'm looking at Taysom Hill, I'm like, man, he got them. He basically got them. So they fell to 5. I mean,
when you say, you just call, you can send him a text. You got them.
Got them. That's one of whoever the GM. Anytime you walk in the hall and you come in, like you walking past his locker, you just look at him like you just want to go punch him in his nose.
No, think about Purple Rain when Morris Day was walking by Prison. He just.
Okay, so Dallas, and then I wanted to look at right now the current, because we're just flying through this football season, man. We're getting ready for week 13. And at the beginning of it, we were like, we got an extra week. There's 17 weeks or 18 weeks. Man, it's flying by. We're in December now. Playoff pictures are forming. Right now, Cardinals sitting at 9-2 are in the number 1 seed in the NFC. And that's important because only one team gets the bye now. 7 teams make the playoffs. Only the top seed, number 1 seed, is going to get that bye. So, nipping on your heels, you got the 9-3 Packers, who actually own the tiebreaker against us, because we lost to them. So it's imperative that we finish a game ahead of them. Otherwise, we lose that tiebreaker, lose that bye. And then you got the 3 seed Buccaneers at 8-3. Cowboys won their game this week already, so they're at 8-4. My question real quick is, and I'll ask you this too, Corey, looking back, we come up 1 game short. How much will the Cardinals players and coaches want to punch themselves in the face for losing that game against the Panthers? That's the one.
Panthers. That's the one. That's the one.
Those hurt.
Yeah, you let that get away early. I mean, it was a freight train. It was done. I think you even mentioned that the way of some of the early play calls is if the coach realized, man, they're not ready, so I got to try to pull. I got to make some stuff. I got to make some. What do you make? Flank steak.
Mm-hmm.
Make filet mignon, flank steak or something like this, and it just didn't work. I think that will be the game that they'll look at, because you have the ups and downs. but that would be a regret.
Corey, have you ever been in a situation where you did something kind of not necessarily lollygag, but you know you didn't put in full effort, and then when the deadline gets there, it's like, oh snap, and then it's too late. You come up a little short. You ever been in that situation?
Oh, for sure. Definitely during school, I'll admit, but it has happened before.
And that the reason I bring it up, you forget, like when you get to the end of the season and say the Cardinals finish, let's just throw a number out there. They're 14-3, but then you end up 14-3 along with Green Bay. It's like you look back. It's like, man, if we'd have just handled our business then. So that's the one I'm going to keep my eye on that, especially as this race continues to tighten. And we're going over there to Chicago. Let's talk about that game coming up here. Murray and Hopkins both got in practice this week, but it was light practice. Nobody put in full practices, and I thought they were both deemed going to be, ready to go. But up until yesterday, the last I heard is they're both going to be once again game time decisions, and that I don't like that game time decision. I've told you every week, every time they said game time decision, it's almost like they made up their mind. Well, we don't want Chicago or Seattle to know that we're not playing.
Yeah.
So let's just go game time decision, and then we end up seeing, your boy standing over there with the earpiece on again.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he has to play, right?
I'm
Kyler
thinking
has to play, right?
You would
Question
think.
mark?
I don't know.
Because I think that we have 6 weeks left in this season, 6 games left in this season, and I think you want to try. I don't think the Cardinals have peaked. We know that there are opportunities with the defense, with the rush defense, for them to shore some of those things up, especially when you get to the playoffs and somebody really tries to exploit that weakness.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when it comes to the offensive side of things, as you mentioned, you saw some benefits to having Connor with McCoy. You want to be able, what can we do to try to get back to where we were with Kyler? I was going to say under center, but running the offense that can help us to be going into the offseason at really trending upwards instead of trending down. That's why I would think that he has to play. They don't really have world beaters that coming down the stretch. They play the Cowboys, right? They have to play the Seahawks at the end of the season here. They play of course they're playing the Bears. They go to Indianapolis.
Got the Rams still.
They got the Rams. The Rams, so if you play the Rams, what is it? I think not this week, but next week.
Yeah.
That's when they play the Rams. So wouldn't it be great to be able to really put the nail in the coffin for the Rams, because they have been sputtering, to say the least. So if you can get Kyler to shake off some of the cobwebs this week, then to go into next week when that game is going to be at home. And of course, there'll be half Rams fans because that's just how it goes here.
I'm a little worried about the leadership role here too. Meaning, Kyler, you and I, we've always questioned his overall leadership.
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting for that, Tom Brady-esque or some of these other throwing name quarterbacks have that demeanor. I'm still not seeing that from Kyler. And then I said, the more you're away, the further away you get from your troops, from your guys.
You can't leave from the sideline.
You can't leave from the sideline. And I'm just a little worried that it's kind of just casual, like, he's just like kind of, I'll get back when I get back. And, these type of seasons they don't come around all the time.
But what if at the flip side of that, what if he is chomping at the bit to want to play and coaching and management?
If he really wanted to play
but
that
what if
bad?
Coaching and management is saying, no, we want to make sure that you are healthy for the long term. And so instead of being the guy that gets to the press conference and saying, I'm ready to play, they just won't let me play. He's just trying to say, all right, to try to buy into what they're doing.
I don't get that. I don't get that kind of feeling. I get that feeling like he's like, well, okay, y'all handle it, and I'll be there when I get there. And it just, if he's chomping at the bit, you got other quarterbacks. Look, Aaron Rodgers is walking around with a broke toe right now, and you can't keep him out of the lineup. I'm not sure how severe this ankle was, but they didn't, when it happened, they didn't make it seem like, oh my God, Kyler's high ankle sprain. It was just like he's got a sprained ankle. And now it's 3-4 weeks later because he's missed 3 games, had a bye week, and it's still. So they either didn't tell us the full Monty.
No, they didn't tell us. I wouldn't tell people either.
I don't necessarily.
What's wrong with you? Why are you doing? How come you're not moving your arm? No, I was just tired. I fell asleep on it. Knowing I got it out of the socket.
I don't know. I really think it's important for him to get back on the field, get back in the trenches with the dudes, because this is home stretch time.
Yeah.
And like I said, and I started to say a little bit ago, these type of seasons don't come around all the time. And when they come, it's like the spark. You need to light that fire and keep it going. And I don't see the urgency. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the game itself. I got another question for you and Corey when we come back that might pique your interest. I want to see what you guys think about this. So we're going to take this break. Appreciate everybody hanging out with Easy and Jay on the Easy Sports Talk Show, KDUS 1060 AM, as well as KSLX HD Channel 2, 100.7. We got the Facebook stream, Facebook going, and the restream. So we're all over the place. Make sure you check us out. How do they get the restream real quick?
You can go to our YouTube channel, Easy Sports Talk Show, and then you can also go through our Facebook page as well.
Okay, we'll take this break. Be back after these messages, folks.
Are you okay?
Host Ed Smith, joined by my brother and co-host, Mr. Javon Adams.
Yes, sir.
A.K.A. J Love.
Yes, sir.
This segment right here is brought to you by
Casual
did I
Sports
get him? I
Radio
almost got it.
Network. KSRN is your destination for the latest updates and in-depth coverage of your Arizona sports teams, including all things Arizona Cardinals for the Bird Gang fan base. Visit ksrnaz.com for feature articles, great podcasts, including the repurposing of Easy Sports Talk Show, and also Believe in the Arizona Cardinals. Also music programming such as Microphone Masters and Disposable Arts and more. ksrnaz.com.
I just dropped my pen. So we're gonna talk a little Cardinals. We have a caller, John, on the line on the Easy Sports Talk line. Gonna jump out, take that call real quick, then we'll get back to Cardinals. How you doing, John?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Good. Hey, this is Al Clark. I don't know if you know, I'm a Michigan Wolverines fan. They finally made it to the big championship there, and I've been waiting for this since Harbaugh took over. And I was wondering what you think the odds are winning and or losing, by how much and why.
First off, John, appreciate the call, man. Give my love to the family and everybody, and I'm gonna try to get home soon to see everybody. Great question, man. And I have a bunch of Michigan friends.
Okay.
And it's almost like that you're so close all the time. And then and you got John Harbaugh, who's he comes back and not necessarily makes promises, but you're looking at the possibilities, right?
Right.
And every year your hopes get dashed. And why they get dashed? Because you run into that juggernaut, which was Ohio State. So you finally have this game. And what I liked about that game, they didn't just beat Michigan. I saw a little manhandling going on out there.
Yeah.
Meaning they decided we're going to run the ball. This is what we do and stop us. And I think that is what Jim Harbaugh is all about. So I was glad to see that. Glad to see them get over the hump, John. And right now, your chances are as good as anybody else if there's always an if.
If there's no letdown.
If you handle your business, go out there and take care of Iowa, you are now in the dance. But, like I said,
What do you think of their chances?
I think if you handle your business the way you did against Ohio State, I think they have a great chance. I am actually picking Michigan to win that game, so I expect them to be in the Final Four. As far as the championship. So I got that game recorded, John. After it's over, make sure you message me, man. I'll be keeping track of it. We maybe even talk during the game. But appreciate the call, man. I had just Smith, I think it was, or E. Smith. Yeah, I think I just hit. Oh, okay. I got two. I got my both of them hanging up in my office. Actually, I should be able to see from here, but I can't. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff hanging up right here. So.
One of his favorite coaches ever.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to get one. Also, been wanting to get one of their ones as well. But I get them. I want to get you autographs for me, bro.
That sounds good. And I think we talked the other day. And when we come back, we'll get I think next year when Junior comes over to play the Eagles, we'll get your girlfriend's jersey signed by him too. Okay.
Yeah, my whole family wants to come to that game to see him.
Yeah, it'll be like old times. Well, appreciate the call, brother John. Make sure you tell the family and everybody I said hello. Okay. There you go. Go Blue. I got that game and the Alabama game because it's Alabama, Georgia. Alabama's been beating up on everybody so long. Finally, an underdog going into a game, and it's almost like I want to see this one. I want to see if Georgia really has what it takes, or do you? It's like the big brother and the little brother finally fight. They've been pushing each other around all the time. Everybody's always getting in between. Because that one time where the other friend comes and says, let him go. Let him go. And the little brother stops the big. I want to see it. I want to see if they can do it. So, before we went to break last time, because we'll probably carry Cardinals over into the top of the next segment, I got a question for you and Corey on this one. Right now, game time decision again, right? Do either of you think, and do you think it's wise if you do think maybe the coaching staff is, man, we got away with 2-1. I know we lost against the Panthers at home, but we're getting ready to go over to a Bears team. Justin Fields isn't playing. You got Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle. Hey, let's roll the dice one more time. Do you think it's a possibility? Because I'm starting to get, if I'm a head coach, I'm going to Kyler every day. I'm like, look, Kyler, we need you out there, bro. I've been in locker rooms when.
I don't know, Coach. Let's see how I'm feeling
Let me ask you, since I did get an answer from you, Corey, do you think that's even a possibility? And if it is it a wise risk?
I think is that if Kyler doesn't play, then the universe will balance itself and make the Bears win.
So they end up with 2-2 in his absence.
Word up.
I'm telling you, you don't want to mess with fire. I don't think they should be.
No, I think he should play. That's what I'm saying. I think that would be kind of the inclination of a coach to say, well, 2-1. I mean, well, this is just the Bears, and then so that just changes the way in which, if it changes even a little bit, the way in which you approach that game or the way in which you call that game, I think that could be a recipe for disaster. And then the longer that it goes, think about there's a difference between getting that rest and getting to 100% health. But as soon as you step on that field again in the first game and the first hit you take, you're no longer at 100%. It's like playing one of those video games and you see your fatigue start to go already. So it's you have to get in there. But how do you get back in football shape?
You got to play football.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, that's what the dude I know with a big head told me.
Wait, I don't know who you talking about. You got some big head friends. You even got one sitting next to you here. Now, I will say this: one of the things I don't like is week of preparation in football. For everybody out there listening, it's not like, okay, we're just going to go over the plays.
Right.
It's timing.
Yes.
It's rhythm. Mm-hmm. Your quarterback runs everything, and it's almost like, imagine you dancing with somebody other than Nika.
Yeah.
You and Nika have a groove together, right?
Yep.
I'm sure, you both close your eyes and put like a circle around you, and you guys can stay in that circle because you're that in tune with each other.
Right.
Your quarterback, you can't, like all week you're practicing with Colt McCoy, and for the last 4 weeks you've been practicing with Colt McCoy, and you're starting to get his rhythm, because in the beginning it's choppy because it was Kyler's. Now he's in there. Now all of a sudden you're offbeat a little bit, but now it's starting to get a little more groove to it.
And AJ Green was becoming more involved because of working with Colt McCoy so much. And you mentioned that
now you got
chemistry.
Now you've got Murray dipping his feet in, not full practicing, but just a little bit here. And it's more, like I said, it's more than just going over plays and everything. There's got to be a rhythm. There's got to be a feel. I don't like the fact that he's just still kind of just like on the sideline, dancing by himself. And here we are, like in this crunch, because I'm telling you, it's crunch time. Yeah. This is the time of year where these stretch runs and these games, I don't care who you're playing, you look up, you lose another one you weren't supposed to lose. You fall behind Packers. Now, instead of sitting home that first round bye, you have to host somebody. And then if you fall even deeper, you might get the first host, but then you got to go out. Yeah. And then eventually, if you're going to go to the Super Bowl, it's going to go through Green Bay, who's already beat you. You don't want that. And I'm not liking this whole thing with Kyler just, game time decision, we'll figure it out.
But you're the one that told me a couple of weeks ago that they already know whether he's going to play or not, right? I mean, I would imagine, so Kyler hasn't played in the last 3 games. So I imagine the first game that he was out, they probably knew he's not playing. We straight. He's not going to play. The second game, maybe they were thinking maybe it was a little bit more up in the air. But before game day hit, I'm sure that they made their decision, shared it with the team, and said, okay, don't zip it.
Yeah, they know. That just still doesn't excuse the fact that he's not, like, we're losing time with him, because he's not. I guarantee he's not going to come back and all of a sudden, boom, he's just right back in the offense and looks like that. It takes time. Right. And do you have, at this stage, the luxury of him not being ready to go and maybe dropping a game here or there? I'm not sure. So I'll ask you, let's go with Corey first. How do you see this game unfolding over in Chicago, Corey? What's your gut feeling? How do we do over there in Chicago this week?
It's a little negative, but man, I really see this Chicago upset happening. I think they're being too careful with Kyler, and before you know it will bite them.
And that's a good. Where do you think we fall short, and how do we end up losing this game? What's giving you like that not so loving feeling?
It's not like the Cardinals are going to fail, but I think something will happen with the Bears, and they're going to just turn up like we have not seen before yet this season. Something's going to insanely happen, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, one of the things you got to.
I can't wait to see it. Well, so y'all fall, and when y'all fall, y'all gonna wake up.
Well, here's another thing. I'll throw this both at you. Dome team, but we have our open roof and grass and stuff like that, right? Right. We're getting ready to go over to Chicago. I've been there before. They called the Windy City for a reason. Mm-hmm. But you know me.
Yeah,
I did look up the weather.
What's the weather?
I looked up the weather. You know I did. a high of 47 with chance of some showers. So for me, 47, that's like it might well be 80 degrees, especially if we're going over to Chicago.
Yeah.
So
So the weather shouldn't be that much of a factor.
Should not be.
Especially if they went to Seattle and they played in Seattle and they were able to equip themselves quite well.
Yeah, I still don't like what I'm seeing so far.
If Kyler plays, they win. I think it'll probably be a little bit more of a drawn out process. It might be some ups and downs, some rising and falling action as he gets ready to get back into a shape. I think if Colt McCoy plays, this might be one that they lose. Not because of anything Colt McCoy does wrong, but because they're really trying to play with fire and that we need to try to get ready for this down the stretch.
I'm with you too. We got to take this break. I'll give mine real quick here. Same as you. If the Kyler plays, we win. We go over there with Colt McCoy. I think we might get slapped in the back of the head. So we're going to take this break, top of the hour. Up already. We'll be back after these messages, folks. Hope you're having a great Saturday so far.
Are you good?
Thanks, Corey.
No problem, all clear.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe.
with us. This segment right here is brought to you by
Colt Artisan Beverage Company, the official beverage company of the Easy Sports Talk Show. One of the first to launch nitrogen-infused coffee. They offer everything from specialty coffees to a botanical infusion line of caffeine and sugar-free brewed beverages. Call Colt Artisan Beverage Company. Why am I tripping today? At 623-434-0939. Again, that's 623-434-0939. Or visit ilovecolt.com for more information. And really, seriously, what was interesting when we were out last time we were out E3 Cryo, and so the drinks that they have, those botanical drinks, it's if you're used to drinking having all kinds of stuff with sugar, with refined sugar and all that type of stuff, and then drinking their drink, it's different, but it still has sugar in it. It's just more
natural.
It's the natural side of things, and that's a much better thing to have. And that's just real talk, man.
And before we get started, we were going to talk a little Suns here. I had to get something off my chest. Saw the injury update for one, Mr. J.J. Watt. He is currently not on. He is on injured reserve and cannot practice. However, he was on the field doing practice on Wednesday doing some conditioning work, right? And it's reported that he's back in the weight room. A potential return about the 2-month mark would get him right back around the time of the playoffs. And for me, it's like, okay, that would be just like him. Everybody does all the hard work all through the year. And then here comes Captain Saber with the cape on, kicking the door down just in time for the playoffs.
What's up?
Yeah, here I come. I'm ready. And, so I just want to give everybody the update, and I was like, I can hear the weights clanging in the weight room. And he's one of them dudes. It's like, what's going on in there? What's going on? Oh, it's just JJ getting his, weight on, you want to let everybody know. Boom, that type of stuff. So
I swear, I am going to find this girl on the lines and cut it up. Hey.
So be ready, folks, because JJ is coming to save us. He'll be back soon. Anyway. All right, so hour 2, here we are. Just had to get that off my chest, man.
I love it. Oh, man. When he was signed to the team, it was Christmas. It was Christmas for me every day. Every time you mention it, I feel as if it's Christmas.
Oh, okay. So I got that off my chest. So our Suns, 19-4 right now, just got clipped last night by the Warriors. Played them twice over the last 3 nights it was. Yeah. We won the first one on Tuesday, 104-96. That's when we were at full strength. Mm-hmm. During the game, Booker went down with a hammy. Hopefully it's not serious. We'll talk about that here shortly. Yeah. We beat the Pistons on Thursday, 114-103, back-to-backs. Last night we go up to play the Warriors, mm-hmm. and we lose 118-96. That's minus Booker, obviously.
Yeah, I think Mikal Bridges his hand. I think he dislocated a finger or something along those lines.
So that ended an 18-game winning streak. Yeah. And, man, you're talking about not seeing that one coming. I thought they'd be a success. Remember, they started off 1-3. Yeah. And next they're 19-4. They did, so they rode this. And like I said, we'll see how long Devin Booker is out. But I'm telling you, Jay, they look like the real deal.
This is true. But you know what's fun? The funniest thing and just the oddest thing is that despite that 18-game win streak, they're still
second place.
I mean, that just shows you how how good that the Warriors are and the Suns are as they're vying for the number 1 position.
And, I was looking at some of their wins. They have the spattering of, and this is what I like. They're taking care of the teams they're supposed to be, right? Mm-hmm. And then they are battling the teams like the Nets, Warriors, obviously, not the Nuggets, different teams. So they're winning the games they're supposed to, mm-hmm. taking care of Cavaliers and stuff like that, Pistons. And they're, like I said, they're looking really even just as good against the top-tier teams, which means for me, they are a top-tier team. Now, I'll ask you this question. The success we're currently on, one, because they look like they're here for the long haul, right?
Right.
But is that tied into, because I do think as much as Booker is the alpha as far as scoring and kind of leading, in that category, I do think the engine runs through Chris Paul. I think that he's the one that kind of, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? He's the pacemaker, I guess. Let's call it that. Mm-hmm. Chris Paul doesn't have 5, 6, 7 years left in him, in my opinion.
Right.
So is this what we're doing? Is this as long as we have Chris Paul, or is this something that they can sustain going long term, in your opinion?
I don't know if they can sustain it long term. Unless they draft somebody, and because of what we anticipate their position or how they're going to finish each season to be over the next 2 or 3 seasons is going to be high enough that they won't get one of those draft picks, that they're grooming campaign to be able to take that spot. And he's a little bit more of the pace changer as opposed to coming in and doing what Chris Paul does. So there's going to have to be more of an emphasis on that if we want to continue to see that sustained success, that high level of success.
Next question for you, and I'm not sure how, because let's be perfectly honest, Jay. There are certain people that are down. I mean, with the Suns, won't miss a game, and we cover them. But I gotta be honest, I don't watch the Suns every night. It's not. Yeah. I'm just not a Suns guy. Yeah. And I'll take that back. I am not an NBA 82 game guy. I'll catch a game like the first game against the Warriors early in the week on Tuesday. I put that one on and watched it from start to finish.
Yeah, so you're a big event guy.
Big event guy. I'm not the dude that's going to watch the Pistons versus the Suns on a Wednesday or Thursday, even Saturday, Sunday. I don't care. Because 82 game schedule, you guys go ahead and get that out of the way, and I'll see you when the playoffs get here, right?
Okay.
So I'm not sure how much you've been watching. One of my concerns, which I think he's showed that he's here and accountable, DeAndre Ayton with that contract situation. Remember?
Yeah.
At the beginning, I was like, well, we might get Pouty Ayton. It looks like he's handling his business out there.
Yeah, but he's still the same. Sometimes can be inconsistent. Ayton that we can see. So it's one of those things where you try to. When he has a good game, there's the chatter that says you should have signed him. When he has a so-so game, now we understand why we wait. But yeah, he's when he realizes that he is such an important part of the success of the Suns, it's hard to be able to label one person over another. I think that Chris Paul, he's done what I thought that he would do in terms of just turning things around, and it's still going in the second season, so that's a good thing. Because I was just curious. I didn't know the extended exposure to the Chris Paul experiment, how that would work. But
that was a concern, yeah.
Yeah, but I do know that Ayton is a catalyst. He is really a part of that success. And the more he's able to do that, that takes a little bit. The better that he performs, that's a little bit that Chris Paul doesn't have to do as much. He can save that for when it really matters. And that it's almost like I'm not even going to switch the others because that other team sucks right now.
No, we're going to talk about them.
Yeah.
We're going to talk.
But that helps to be able to. The more these other guys step up, then it's a more of an even distribution. It doesn't have to be even all the way around, but it means that that they're harder to defend because they are so versatile and dangerous.
Have you been watching? Because the one concern I have obviously with Chris Paul is he's not a young dude. At some point, do you rein him in a little bit and monitor his minutes more? Or is Monty already doing a pretty good job of that? We're going to get a couple of our Suns experts on here so they can answer some of these questions. I'm not saying you can't answer, but somebody who's watching them every night.
Right.
But I wonder about that. Do you think he should be on a pitch count, or is Monty handling that well so far?
Yeah, I think he's handling it well, but I also believe that. What does he got? A couple of years left. I mean, we're just gonna try to do the best we can.
Squeeze that lemon.
Try to get it out of it. Because sometimes when that drop happens, it doesn't matter if it's football or basketball or hockey or whatever the sport is. That drop can happen right then. And so it hasn't happened to him so far. So we want to try to continue to push as much as possible. Think about if they can. They don't have anything to prove in the sense that just maybe finishing in the top 3 to say that to the league that wasn't a fluke last season. But yeah, the Suns, I'm impressed. It goes without saying that I'm impressed.
Well, just it was reported that Booker's injury is not serious, but I always caution when it comes to that hamstring.
Yeah.
That thing is always waiting there just
It can
to
go
catch you
away
and
quick
grab you.
because my hamstring was messed up for a week or so, and then
You're
one day I
not
woke up.
muscular though. You don't have no muscles, guy. You got no tight hamstring.
Then I woke up one day and it was fine, and I said,
That's because your hamstrings are already loose, and hey, we're gonna take this break. Hope you're having a good Saturday so far, folks. Hey, now we're Easy and JB back after these messages. Talk about my hamstring. My hamstring just
what
went
I do when I'm working out and when I'm exercising.
Check out JDUSA That's right.
Okay, sounds good.
And then, and Corey, during the segments, the sound beds, they just help us to let us know that we're still connected.
Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah, you're good. No worries.
75 years of business. Since 1946, the Milano family has provided every aspect related to
Monty Williams, how much Monty Williams is made for the Suns, this whole streak, and how much you expect the Suns' success on the last couple of years. I want to ask you how much of an impact Monty Williams had on the team.
I appreciate it. That's a great call, Dan. I think Monty Williams is actually the perfect coach for this team. And it's funny, when we could have had anybody.
And just dropped.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, we could have had anybody in this seat, right?
Yeah.
With this talent.
Yes.
And they don't like for instance, every chef doesn't make you give them the same ingredients.
Yeah.
It does not taste the same.
Yeah. I don't think my neck bones tastes like that.
No, you can't do it like that.
Why you gotta say it like that, dude?
I'm just letting you know. But I'm not saying yours would be acceptable, but it wouldn't be easy. So, but yeah, I think Monty is the perfect coach or chef for this team. I really do.
I agree with that because I think he's coming off of being named Coach of the Month, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, his demeanor, it's a thin line though, right? Because if the Suns, let's say if they experience some challenges or they had an under 500 month or something along those lines, how come he's not more demonstrative? How come he's so laid back? But he is true to who he is, and I think that works with this team. Would it work well if there were all young players?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you have the right mix.
Or if he had a geriatric crew like the Lakers.
Yeah, that's real.
That would not fit. Yeah,
straight up. And so because of that, when you empower, I believe he's about empowerment. So when you empower those veterans to be able to police or to be able to build the culture that he says, this is what I want. Now that this is what I want, let's go ahead and make this happen.
And I also like the fact that
I would love it if the Lakers were trying to sign him and the Suns got him. And I never really care about. I never really get too emotional about that. I didn't really get emotional about that either. But I was disappointed, even though we got a championship from Vogel. But I like Monty's
long term. Yeah.
I like Monty's style.
Now, what was I going to say? I like also the fact that he has a Chris Paul there who can also be his second voice. A lot of coaches, and I've been around them, there has to be the loudest voice in the room all the time. Listen to me when I talk. But I can imagine sometime Monty and CP3 probably sit down and talk, and he's like, go handle that,
Here's one of the things, and Monty mentioned this when Chris Paul signed. He mentioned how much he has grown from when he was first day coach.
Mm-hmm.
And so how he was that it's my way or the highway. I don't care what you have to say, because he was younger and felt that he had so much to prove. But it's amazing what teamwork, being able to listen. I could be the coach and I ask the player something, and he might tell me his thoughts, and as long as he feels that he's being heard and at least his opinion is being considered, that can make all the difference in the world, as opposed to, no, I don't care what you have to say, just do what I told you to do. That can be the difference between being able to get one of these young cats in line to be able to get on board to win an additional 4, 5, 6, 7 games. His way of approaching it, what he's learned along the way, and how he implements that, I think that can't be. I don't think it can be stated enough. That's why I think he is a big piece of the success of the Suns.
Great comment from our feed here, and this is Mark Twain Beaver, who is obviously he's part of the show and does a lot of different things with us with True Narrative Media, and he's an avid Suns guy. He said, in regards to Monty, his poise is what shines for me. He explains things and players relate to him well. Along with CP3, a great combo, perfect for the Suns. That's exactly what we were kind of just saying, and that's exactly what Mark sees as well. So appreciate that comment, Mark. So the Suns, like I said, I think they had their next up. Let me see, I had it somewhere. They got a couple days off on Monday. They have the Spurs coming in, so they'll kick their week off, maybe win another 18 in a row. Who knows? Which was a franchise record too.
Yes, it was.
So I mean, no shame in that. You brought it up earlier, though, bro. To win 18 in a row and still be in second place,
man,
that says a lot. I mean, that means that this is going to be a battle. And here's the other point. Forgot to bring this up.
Yeah.
Warriors aren't even at full strength right now.
They're not.
They still got Clay, Thompson, sitting on the bench, getting ready to come back, and some other pieces still. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a
second-year player that drafted. His name escapes me now, but yeah, they still have places, and that's going to be interesting as you try to to incorporate those pieces because we know Clay is a shooter.
Yeah,
That
he's
man
a
get off
shooter.
the bus shooting. But now you're trying who are you taking minutes
To-
away
yeah.
from here to do that, and so you just hope that we hope that it upsets the apple cart for them, but you just don't know how that's going to work.
Are you surprised that? And like I said, when they signed him, it was because Clay went down. Wiggins has actually, and sometimes you get lost, like you get drafted number 1, you go to Minnesota, you look like a failure because you can't ever win any games,
Mm-hmm.
and then you come here and he doesn't have to be a 1, he's a 2-2.5,
Yeah, he's more of a threat.
and he could be a 3.
Yeah.
And when you're 3 as a Wiggins and he knows his role, it looks pretty good.
How many players have you seen in the NBA over the let's say over the last 10, 20 years, right?
Huh?
Players that are drafted and they're told you're number one guy, but they aren't really whatever that make it, they're not number one guys. And then they go to a team where they are where maybe that trade happens or they sign and they're supposed to be the number 2 and they still have that number 1 mentality.
Oh yeah.
And they don't perform that way, and so they never accept their role.
Yeah.
I think it took a little while, but I think he's accepted his role.
But when you go and you're playing Robin or the Butler to
Batman?
yeah, not the but I'm talking about Curry.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go to hit that, when that dude, man, I know he had an off night the game here on Tuesday.
He's phenomenal.
He is unbelievable. For his size, what he can do out there, the dribbling, the shooting.
He'll turn it over for you though.
He'll turn it
He'll
over.
definitely turn it, but he is phenomenal.
Yeah. So, like I said, Wiggins being a 3, whatever you want to call him, 2.5, 3, when especially with Clay gets back, that's going to be interesting to watch these two teams. Like I said, to win 18 in a row and you still in second place. That's tough right there. So we're going to keep track of the Sun. A few minutes left in this segment. Which way you want to go? Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's real quick. Let's talk. We're going to do that real quick because there's something else we got to talk about.
Yeah.
Zion once again is setback with his foot, was practicing, was sore, so they had to shut him down, take the load down again. This dude, man, might be forever.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing: you get hurt in practice. What's going to happen? You got however many games you got during the regular season. They can't load you the rest of the way through.
2 words for you.
What?
You ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Sad boy.
Ooh, yeah.
Benoit Benjamin.
Yeah. Do you think it's too early to put the label on?
No, it's too early. It's definitely too early. But
the signs,
you just start seeing some of those things, and you hope that they come out on the other end because he has such a talent. But it's the weight issue. It's just is it maybe in his DNA that he's going to be susceptible to some more of these type of injuries? Did he have an injury when he was playing? It might be a different player I'm thinking of when he was at Duke, right?
Yeah.
So, man,
it's sad because he's obviously a great talent, but man, if you can't get on the court, and like I keep saying, it's one thing to miss when you get hurt when you're playing games. When you're out there on 4-on-4 practices, and now we got to shut you down, that means you're not in for the long haul.
Yeah.
Because the grueling nature of an NBA season, back-to-backs and all these different things, it just does not look good. So I'm hoping the best for him, though, because I'd love to see him get – and then the other part, was stuck in New Orleans. That is a putrid organization.
Think of the people that have gone there. So you think of David Griffin, that went there because of Zion, and some players that come because they want to play with him, is sort of be able to they put the chips in for this particular player, and hoping that it bears fruit, or that they end up coming up winning.
I know you thought we were going to just slide on from this next topic, but I'm not. We're going to talk about them when we come back because I
got an interesting stat for you.
Okay. Yeah, anybody who listens to our show, Jay is a Lakers fan, and they're doing a little scuffling right now with the king, with the king. So when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about what they're dealing with. But this is so far. I've actually watched a few games, and NBA wise, it's been entertaining. It really has. So maybe I'll tune in a little more. We also have Mark Twain Beaver, who's going to be chipping in from time to time now, because I know about his avid following of the Suns. So I told him he might be our new Suns analyst. So we're going to take this break. I hope you're having a great Saturday so far, folks, wherever you might be. If you're out here in Arizona with all this beautiful weather, can't complain. That's why we live out here. If you're somewhere dealing with some nastiness right now, you should have moved to Arizona, so you can't blame us. So we're going to take this.
Oh, my God. That was so cold.
Oh, boy. We're going to take this
Cold-blooded.
break. Hope you're having a great weekend so far, folks. Listen to Easy J, Easy Sports Talk, KDUS 1060 AM, as well as KSLX HD Channel 200.7, Facebook, and Restream as well. Go out and get your Coke, people. Go get your Coke coffee or your botanicals.
Indeed.
KDUS AM 1060. Home with Alexa.
Hi, I'm Alexa.